What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys joining in, clicking on the video. Want to give you guys an update on what we got going on. It's been kind of slow the last week or so working on the race car, but we have made progress. Our game plan was to go drag racing this weekend, but the high is going to be like 34 degrees or something, so it's going to be really cold on Saturday and Sunday. So drag racing this weekend is probably not going to happen. The following weekend, the last weekend of the month, there's going to be a couple drag races happening. Thunder Valley has got a race on the backside. Thunder Valley backside is very challenging. It's very challenging when you've got a lot of passes there. So it's super challenging when you don't have many passes. So I don't know if we'll be going there. Darlington has got a front side no prep. We're going to be going to one of those two. We don't know which one exactly we're going to be going to yet. That one will probably be a little bit better for us as far as because we don't have the front end travel. We don't have all the stuff we needed to go backside racing really fast. So we may end up at Darlington. They got a race, but I don't know if I'll get in the race. I mean, I'm sure they'll be doing testing, tuning as well. Weather week after next is supposed to be really nice. I think the high is going to be like 60, 65 degrees. So let me show you what we got going on. Comment, like, and subscribe. If y'all want to support the channel, head on over to TurboJohnRacing.com. Grab yourself some hats and t-shirts. I am also doing a giveaway. I've got a little turbo keychain. If you buy this turbo keychain, you get entered to win the wheel that's off the wrecked Mustang. We're only doing like 50 of those spots. Somebody's going to get a signed wheel off of the race car. You go to TurboJohnRacing.com. You'll see the little keychain, limited quantity of 50, and you're going to get entered to win the signed wheel from me and all my buddies. Appreciate it, guys. All right, guys. Well, the biggest thing is you can see the transmission stuff is back in. It is so much easier and so much nicer to work on this thing without having the body on the car. So having the body cut off definitely made a difference. I've sat in it pretty long time the other day, probably about 15 or 20 minutes. I really didn't take any video of it, but I was just sitting there feeling how comfortable I was, much more comfortable in the car. So we got Anton Lightning Quick Glides. He hooked us up with the transmission. So one thing we did is we went ahead and put a bigger vent on this. So we had a little teeny one. And, you know, one of the problems we found that the top up here was actually clogged up. So that was solid. So I have a big air filter that we're going to put on this vent and also up the size from the 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch push lock. So now we're going to have a lot more volume. It also has a vent back here at the back. We've got our bleed valve for the transmission pressure that we're going to mess with. That's all this thing is over here. This is all experimental so that we can get the charge pressure exactly where we want it so we don't knock the thrust bearing out the motor. So that's going to be the game plan on that. So I did put a valve over there. We put a gauge so I can read it manually. And then, of course, we've got our sensor on there as well so we can watch it going down the track. So that's one of the things we're going to try to get some good data, make sure that thing is regulated down in the 70 to 80 PSI range so we don't knock out thrust bearings. We talked about that a little bit. We know converters and, you know, if there's too much charge pressure, it can push on the back. Now, we do have the roller thrust bearing in this motor. TK can put that in for us, but still we want to limit the amount of pressure that is pushing on that. It should be able to take more, but at the same time, we don't want to push it. We don't want to try it. We don't want to blow anything up. So transmission's in, everything looks good. We did that painted, worked out pretty good. The roll cage stuff, all that stuff turned out nice. It looks really good. So I'm very happy with that. Shifter is in it. And when I'm sitting in this thing now, it is so much more comfortable I can get my elbow. I might go ahead and extend this back just a little bit to get it just so it goes to the back and it's not exposed. Before with my arm coming down, it couldn't go back, but now it can, although my arm's not going to be behind me anyway back there. So the paint job turned out pretty good. We showed y'all that on the last one. Turned out reasonable. It don't look terrible. So happy with that. I did move my steering wheel hook over a little bit on that side. So I think we're going to be good. So can't thank Anton enough. Lightning Quick Glides, go check him out. He's in Asheville. Anton Morgan. We're going to redo this downpipe as well at some point. Brian's got the front end stuff going back on it. And I showed you a picture before. It looks really good with the front end. So we're going to try to paint this thing up sometime. But we're probably going to take this and go out and down the side and out the fender. So about the last hour, I've been looking at front suspension, and I think it's above my skill set, honestly, guys. The way this thing is done, the way the shocks are, they are tilted back just a little bit. They're tilted. They have to be a certain way in order for them to function properly, right? So I was looking at my other ones. I got my TRS long travels over here, and I was playing with these the other day. That's Brian's turbo kit there. So these are from Jeff Thomas TRS. I was talking with Jeff, and I can loosen these bolts here, and then I can screw the body down in here. Now, if you do the math on where the other one is on the car now, from the center of the spindle here to where this is about 10 inches. And you see this is significantly more than that. And I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, no problem. I can take this, loosen these up, and screw this down quite a bit. And I can, but the only problem is the angle that this is at. It's not going to go past this arm, and that looks deceiving, but there's no way it can screw down because of my adjusters down there. Once it gets to this arm piece right here that the tie rod end attaches to, once it gets to that point, it can't go down any further. And so I might could notch that out, or I might could even take this off completely and slide it down. Maybe that would work. So we could make it work. And then we would have to 100% remake the A-arm down here. That's just a regular old, I don't even know what it is. It's a mild steel. This thing's heavy too. And see, we cut it from where we bent it. It's got a regular ball joint. The only thing that's damaged on this one, this is the one that hit the wall the hardest, is the cap there is a little damaged. But this thing actually rolls, and I actually took it apart. I've got to get another one of these. I've got to get another rotor. That bolt's right on. The rotor is bent. Got a little bit of damage on the caliper here, but everything seems to be hunky-dory, working good. I screwed this off. All that stuff looks fine. And you see, this thing even spins now. So even with a warped rotor, these TBM brakes are on point, son. These TBM brakes put in work. Even with a bent rotor, the pads suck so far out, they don't even hit. They barely hit doing that. That's hitting the control arm down there. But you can see they're awesome. So shout out to TBM for making some good brakes. I mean, they're good. They're fine. All you gotta do is replace that. So, man, I would love to get these on the car. If we could get these on the car, the amount of travel that these things have. Hold on. Let me see if I can extend it. I got them on loose. These things have like 8 inches of stroke. Hold on, let me zoom out. So now you can see these things are massive extension in the front. So TRS long travel struts are the bomb. Man, I wish I could get them on the car. I just think they're kind of above my pay grade on what I'm willing to do, because I don't know how long I'm gonna be in this car. So it's one of those things, I don't know if it's worth the time and effort. The other thing is the way this thing is manufactured, the way this thing is done, the way it's built, I should say. It's very close. So I was looking back at the pictures when Brian had the front wheels on, or the front fenders, and these things are tucked in probably maybe an inch, not much more than that. And you can see the angle of this, the angle toward the top to the left, which is perfect. That's what they're supposed to do. And then the angle, if you come here, they angle backwards. And the video is kind of hard to see, but it is tilted backwards. But the way this is made and constructed, from this point, from over here to under here to the spindle right now is about 8.5, 9 inches. So one of the things we know with a long travel strut, the longer the A-arm is, the better, right? Because this little short arm right here in the front, if we start trying to put extreme angle on that, the sweep, I shouldn't say the sweep, if we start trying to put extreme travel, right? So if we're trying to make this thing go through 8 inches of travel, if you have a little short arm, it's gonna be a real strong arc, right? So if this arm is 10 inches or 12 inches or 13 inches, the longer this arm is, the less you have this happening. And I'm exaggerating quite a bit, but the less you have that because it's longer. So it's going to move less as far as the curve. So Mike had brought that up to me on the new car, on the Mustang. He's going to try to do some things and play with the angles to make this thing so that it works out better. You know, he's going to play with the angle of the lower control arm instead of having it flat. I think he's going to angle it way uphill, and that way, you know, it goes more in the middle of the sweep. He's going to do all that stuff. So doing all that on this car is going to be very challenging for two reasons. One, you can see I can't go much further than this. I might could add another inch, but then that's going to be way shorter than the Mustang factory control arm. I don't know what the distance is on the factory Mustang control arm, but I cut those off, and they're almost as long as that one is on the back already. So I don't think that's going to be a real good option to put over here. I think if we got 8 inches of travel here, I mean, we would have extreme angle of the front tire. This would be like this, and then going down the track, it would be like this, and it would just be a lot of movement. So I don't think that's going to be the right move. So maybe we might just end up being stuck with these and just realizing that on the backside, we're absolutely going to suck, and maybe not even doing any backside races. I mean, I know we love to go to Dig or Die, and we'll probably still go to that one, but any of the other ones, you know, we may not do. I'd end up having to stick with some front side stuff, and that's okay. I'm okay sticking with front side stuff. The only problem with front side stuff is you got to be usually generally a little faster. But now on the front side stuff, I mean, you know, we might be fine just putting limiters on it and not letting it have much travel and going to town. We know that's the case for radials. But on, you know, slicks on the front side, I don't know, because we hadn't had a chance to do it yet. Let me show you something else that's pretty cool. This was the idea of one of our buddies, Ryan. Y'all see him occasionally on the channel, but he had an idea. He was putting transmission fluid in the other day, and he had a problem with getting to it. And, you know, so do we. The way this thing is designed, and he happened to have a little sprayer, and so he put his transmission fluid in the sprayer, and I got one that is labeled. So this one holds 1.25 gallons. So 5 quarts. And then basically you put it in there, you pump it up, and then you just put it in there and hold it, and it puts it in. Now it is a kind of a slow go, but if you got plenty of time, that is much better than having to use a funnel that we bent, you know, they make it go in here. So when you're limited on space, I thought that was a great idea. But yeah, so we are ready to go here. We are ready. The motor turns over. I hadn't been started in a couple weeks. But right now I need 3 more quarts of transmission, maybe 1 gallon of transmission fluid. So we gotta go get some more Castrol Blue tomorrow, and we'll get this thing cranked up. So tonight's Thursday, so actually that'll be Friday tomorrow night. Probably won't come over tomorrow night, and then Saturday we're gonna come over here Saturday. Might go ahead and get the body back on it, weld the body back on, and maybe go ahead and get the front end on. Might go make a street hit possibly on Saturday, but we'll see. I don't know. But really excited. Cars coming together. You know, it's kind of a slow month, January. We haven't raced in a month, so you know, with the holidays and then having the transmission out and it being really cold, it's just one of those things that's just not happening. Getting closer, guys. Getting closer. So we're gonna go make some hits. Hopefully my converter pressure thing is fine. I think it's going to be. And we'll be able to actually make some good rips. So that's the game plan. All right, guys, if y'all want to support the channel, head to TurboJohnRacing.com. We got hats, we got t-shirts, we got beanies. We got lots of cool stuff. And if y'all want to get entered to win that front wheel, we got 50 spots. They're going to be numbered 50 down. And so they're little keychains. Grab you one and get entered. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see y'all later.